Tonight on That's Dark.
As the shadows of Japan's ancient past come to life, follow me through the misty moonlight paths where the living and the dead meet, from vengeful ghosts seeking retribution to eerie creatures lurking in the dark. Each tale is a doorway into a world where the lines between reality and the supernatural blur. So light a candle, settle in, and let the whispers of the past guide you into the heart of Japan's most chilling legends.
Hello, everybody.
Hi.
It's Alyssa.
And I'm Heather.
I am excited for this one. Oh my goodness. I am loving this lore stuff. It just makes me... Oh, I don't know what just happened there. It makes me happy. It's Mercury retrograde, and I'm tired.
Yeah.
And technology sucks.
Yeah. I'm super tired. Like, I've been going to bed pretty early, too.
Yeah.
You'll be happy to know I started watching Stranger Things. I did.
What are your thoughts?
I'm hooked.
So good, right?
I'm hooked. I'm in season 1, but episode 5 now.
Oh my
and
God,
I'm
yes.
literally hooked. I think about it.
It's so good.
That's how you know it's a good show. Because I'll be sitting there being like,
I just want to watch that right now.
how's Hopper going to get out? Like,
Yeah.
I literally think about it like that.
It's like my cozy show. Like,
I can see it.
Love it. I love it. And those kids are just the best.
They are.
They couldn't have picked a better cast.
I cannot. The cuteness between Mike and 11
I know.
is just, it would be the friendship. I just cannot. I'm like, oh.
I need to know if you can tell who my favorite character is. It's one of the kids.
I know. It's the, what's his name? I haven't got all their names yet. Mm-hmm. It's the one with no teeth.
Yeah, Dustin.
Yeah.
He's my favorite.
He's so cute.
Oh
He's the best.
He's so cute.
He's the best. So.
Yeah, he's awesome. What's been new with me? Not much besides going crazy from retrograde, from technology.
5 retrogrades.
From exhaustion. Absolute I'm always exhausted, but I'm like...
It's extra.
It's real extra.
I'm not usually exhausted, and by the afternoon, I'm like, I just want to take a nap. Like, my eyes are burning.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
like,
very weird.
I need to check out now. Now.
I mean, I am working. I'm not working. I am getting up at 5:30 to do
true.
the gym. But at the same time, I'm going to bed like
early.
9:30, 10. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's early for me.
Yeah.
And usually I thrive on like 5-6 hours of sleep.
I wish I could.
I am not
I
right
can't.
now.
I need a solid 9 hours a night, I would say.
I feel so gross.
Really?
I feel so
If I have
gross.
more than that, I feel really gross. But like, if I have like, even on nights, like during, if I can even get a freaking frequent fear pass, they still no express passes for them. But if I can, like the day after a Halloween Horror Nights night, I'm a monster. It's actually 2 days after. I am just a monster.
You're like, don't talk to me.
I'm so I literally feel like I get like the flu. Like that's the feeling I get.
I know exactly what
exhaustion.
you're talking about, because if I do like a whole day at Disney and it's hot out and all that
my
kind of
God.
stuff, by the next day I feel like my body is sick.
Yeah.
So I totally get it.
It's not fun.
No.
I don't like it at all. No. It's not kind. Good news.
It's not kind.
I made bagels and they're freaking delicious. They're so good.
I'm so excited.
It's I found them on TikTok, but apparently they are Michael Bublé's bagels.
Michael Bublé bagel.
Yes. And it's literally just flour. It's the King Arthur bread flour.
Bublé
Bagels. They call them Blagels.
Blagels. Okay.
It's the King Arthur bread flour, Greek yogurt, and baking powder.
No way.
I believe, and salt.
That's it?
That's it. And you just combine it till it's a dough,
Did
and
you,
then you separate
did you
it.
put it in the thing, or did you just bake them?
Nope, just you put egg wash on them and bake them.
No way. You
That's
don't have
it.
to do the baking soda, like, dump?
Nope.
Crazy.
You don't have to boil them. You
I'm
don't
gonna
have to. They're freaking good, dude. And for whatever reason, I think it's you don't taste the yogurt, but I think that yogurt gave it like a sourdough like taste.
I love sourdough.
Yeah. So
I'm on a sourdough English muffin kick, like every morning with the Kerrygold butter. Oh my god, it is the best. I love
Kerrygold.
Oh,
oh my god.
I can't go back.
It's so good.
I can't. Like, I have it up for me.
Yeah.
Because everyone else can have the regular stuff. I have.
You know what? Aldi has a good, like, they call it Irish butter, which is the same as, like, the Kerrygold is, like, Irish. Theirs is pretty good. It's like an Aldi brand. I would say it's comparable to it. I still think Kerrygold's better, but I have been using it, and it's very good. Very delish.
I'll have to try it.
It's very demure.
Very mindful.
Very mindful.
Very cutesy.
Dude,
this podcast is very demure.
I freaking died at that shit. I don't
mindful.
go to work with a green cut crease.
Because I'm very demure. I'm very mindful.
Yes.
Very cutesy.
I'm sorry if you guys are annoyed by that.
Who cannot know it or be annoyed?
Exactly.
I love that guy.
It's the best.
He's like, when I'm in Vegas, do I go to Walgreens with a little throw up on my shirt? Yes, but I do it because I'm demure. I'm very mindful.
Wait, that's my nightmare. I can't throw up.
Oh my God.
I will be sick in bed for 72 hours before I throw up.
Hell fucking no, dude. Hell fucking no. Making me throw up. No. The problem is I can't make myself. I have to like sit there and think about it. I just like think about it if I'm really sick because I can't obviously like.
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah. I can't because I just like it makes me want to die. Like the feeling of it.
You're so
But
weird.
I just like the only way I'm gonna throw up is if it just comes out.
I have to relieve. I can't. If my stomach is like the worst thing in the world to me is being sick to my stomach.
I know. I hate
it. It is the 100% like worst thing in the world. You know me. How often am I like? I always get the allergies, but how often am I like complain about being sick?
Never.
But I'm down. If I get up, I'm like I can't do anything.
I just can't.
I have to throw up.
I will literally, you know how like your mouth gets all watery.
Yeah, that's how I know. Run.
And I get a little spit container and I will just get the
disgusting.
I'll just be like, no, it's not a thing. That's not there.
You're spitting spit in a container?
Because like if I swallow it, it'll make me throw up. I'm like,
when that feeling's coming, it means your body needs to throw the fuck up, Alyssa.
I can't.
Holy
it's a literal phobia, I'm pretty sure.
Obviously it is. For you to get a little spit trough.
I literally can't. And even as I am knocking on wood because I do not want to throw up. I think as an adult, I have maybe thrown up 2 times.
Oh shit.
Maybe.
Well, I've been pregnant, so I've thrown up much more than that. And then Jake made me throw up every day of my pregnancy.
Oh my God, no.
Also gave me double pink eye. It was awful, and I couldn't take anything for it. Just sat with tea bags on my eyes.
This is literally what I was telling you last week. Women are literal superheroes for being able, because I just couldn't. I couldn't.
I mean, I was at my limit on that pregnancy. Like, I remember being there with tea bags, just going,
like, this can't be happening.
And everyone was like, you're so mean. I'm like, you be mean too. You be fucking mean too.
That would send me into oblivion.
And then I would eat my Del Taco soft chicken tacos. Like, nom, nom, nom. And then I'd be like, bleh, throwing it back up. I didn't care. I was eating those motherfuckers. Put them in my mouth.
I just give anybody props for that because last week, after we recorded, I got the worst migraine. The freaking worst. And I went
down. Like, it was like 0 to, like, she was just, I was brushing her hair because we do that girly stuff. And then she was like, I need to sit up and I need to sit up on the couch. And the next thing I know, I look over, she's got a blanket over her.
It was so bad.
Whole ass blanket. So then I'm like, well, I'm gonna go.
It was so bad, and all I could think in that moment, I was just like, the fact that there's people who feel this way and then have children that they have to care for is crazy.
Maybe that's why I'm always like, no, I'm not sick. Can I just go on?
You just like dissociate.
I'm like, robot.
Oh my God.
What I gotta do.
I literally would just cry, I think. I would pass out.
Then Liz gets the man flu, so she gets sick and she's gone.
Are you serious?
She's gone. Her body she has to sleep. She can't function.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Which is the best thing to do to get rid of it, but
I can't stop.
you just gotta power through. It depends on what I have. It depends. Like a cold, yeah, I'll just keep going, you know?
No.
But migraines are what get me out.
Oh, I mean migraine.
A migraine and a UTI, I turn into the biggest baby.
But can we talk about really fast before we go into my stories, why you did the thing on Bloody Mary?
I was literally...
And then I was driving home and I was like, oh shit. Oh shit. Did Bloody Mary do that shit?
I was literally, as I was sitting there that night, I was like, oh my God, not me, like making fun of Bloody Mary low key. And like, did she?
Low key. She's like, zzz in your head. She's like, migraine. But the fact that I thought it going home too, I was like, oh.
You're like, oh, she did say it 3 times. She did say she doesn't believe in her.
Oh no.
She did say all of these things.
See, I don't make comments like that. I'm like, you know, just in the off chance that something could be real, I'm just gonna.
I would like to make a formal apology to Miss Mary.
Miss Bloody Mary.
Miss Bloody Mary, I apologize.
Miss Bloody Mary, I shall never say that you're not real again.
I believe your powers now.
I bow to you.
I'm very sorry. Okay.
I
think that's a good chat.
Continuing on, obviously you guys know with the intro, I wanted to venture out of American folklore and go into Japan because I thought Japan had some really pivotal good legends and ghosts. So we're going to talk about a few of them today. So this is going to be following in, and I hope I can do it justice, but understand that I'm an uncultured swine. I was kidding.
I am too. It's fine.
I looked up pronunciations because I did not want to do any disservice, you know. But we're going to start with the first one that really kind of fucking scared me.
Oh boy.
Her name is Kuchisaka Onna, or the Slit-Mouthed Woman.
Oh, I think I've heard of her.
She is one of Japan's most famous and terrifying ghosts and legends. Her story has roots in ancient folklore, but became wildly popular in the late 20th century, especially in the 1970s and 1980s. The legend of Kuchisaka Onna has many variations, but the central elements of her story are very consistent. So let's talk about the legend. Kuchisaka Onna is typically depicted as a woman who wears a surgical mask, covering the lower half of her face. She approaches her victims, often at night, usually in isolated areas or while they're walking home. She asks them seemingly simple question, "Am I beautiful?"
I have heard of her.
If the person answers yes, she removes her mask to reveal a grotesque, disfigured mouth that has been slit from ear to ear, creating a very macabre, permanent smile. She then asks, "Even like this?" Sorry. I just how I say it. I'm like, that's probably not how she says it, but that's fine.
Even like this?
Depending on the response, the victim's fate, it goes like this. If they answer no or scream, she kills them on the spot, often using a pair of scissors.
Oh!
Yeah. If they answer yes, she may either spare their life or still kill them, but in a less gruesome way. But a lot of times, she will then cut their mouth to resemble hers, even if they say yes.
You know?
There are, however... What?
I was going to say, the way I would be like, you are so beautiful still. Absolutely. Yes. Yes, queen.
Yes.
Yes.
Cover your mouth. Beautiful.
Oh my God. You're even more beautiful.
Everyone will love that mouth.
Stunning.
Gorgeous. But there are ways to escape her.
Okay.
In the legend, there is ways. First is confusion. If a person gives a confusing or ambiguous answer, such as, "You are average," or "so-so," she might pause, giving them a chance to run.
Who? I'm sorry.
You're average.
Who says that to a stranger?
Or a stranger with a cut-up mouth. You're average.
Yeah, you know,
so-so.
it could be better.
I mean,
Who the fuck?
that mouth, though. No.
That's crazy. Maybe
What'd that mouth do?
That's just crazy. I'm sorry.
Distraction. So in some versions, if you throw candy or money at her, she may be distracted long enough for you to run away. All I know is I picture her going, oh, grabbing it.
Or just be so confused, like
what the
what?
fuck? And then reversal. Another method is to ask her the same question back, which confuses her and allows you to escape. So, am I beautiful? I'm not asking you.
The pause.
Alyssa, why did you pause? Thanks a fucking lot.
I was engaged, okay? I'm listening.
You're staring at me like, huh?
No, like what? Huh? What happened? What happens next?
So let's talk about the origin and history of the Kuchisaka Onna. So it's actually not completely clear, but she does literally go back to the 1603.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Where there were tales of women who suffered from facial disfigurement, often as a result of punishment or revenge. Gosh. The most common version involves a samurai, right? Or jealous husband, who, suspecting his wife of infidelity, slashes her mouth from ear to ear, condemning her to a life of shame. So in the 20th century, the urban legend is, the modern version is Kuchisaki Onna began to circulate in the 1970s. So it was like this whole, pretty far out legend, but then it kind of repopularized again. And it basically was, they were having a fascination with urban legends during that time. And ghost stories. And so then actual sightings started popping up with her. So they started, and I'm actually going to go through some of those later.
Okay.
But it really went around school children. So some versions even suggested that she could be a vengeful spirit or a type of ghost in Japanese folklore. So there is definitely, and if you look at Japanese folklore, a lot of vengeful spirits.
Yep.
It's a thing. The story of Kuchisaka Onna has been influenced by various aspects of Japanese culture, including the use of surgical masks, which are common in Japan for health reasons. Her image has also been influenced by Yokai, which is supernatural creatures, traditions where many spirits are depicted as grotesque or vengeful. Their spirits are typically not beautiful.
Yeah.
I found that to be the case.
You can very much tell from anime.
Yes. Kuchisaka Onna has had a significant impact in the popular culture. She has appeared in numerous films, television shows, manga, and anime, becoming a staple of Japanese horror. Her story has also been adapted into different contexts outside of Japan, contributing to the broader genre of urban legends. Kuchisaka Onna can be seen as a symbol of various social anxieties, and this is what comes from Japan, including the fear of women's anger and vengeance, the horror of disfigurement, and the consequences of vanity. Her character reflects the darker aspects of human nature, and her story serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of superficial judgments. So basically, Kuchisaka Onna is a terrifying figure whose origins are deeply rooted in Japanese folklore and culture. And then it just has evolved over the time, but it's very much one of the main ones that in the schools they tell of her. And I'll get to another one that's even more terrifying.
Oh boy.
But the one thing I wanted to connect, and I didn't put that one in there, is that samurai, that legend of the samurai is connected to her. That there is a legend that a samurai was gone, his wife was unfaithful, he came home and he was like, bitch, and then he cut her. And then she was shamed because everyone knew why he cut her, almost like the Scarlet Letter, kind of thing. Everyone knew what she did, and so she was shamed. She took her life. She became a vengeful spirit.
Got it.
So
I can see how that could happen.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sorry.
awful.
It's not Kuchisaka Onna that I have actual stories for. That's the other lady.
Okay.
We'll get to her. But that's a story of her. That's a story of the split mouth.
That is terrifying.
And from what I've read, that surgical mask is definitely more modern. So back in the day, she just appeared with her grotesque smile and would say, do you think oh my God.
She's
Good
hungry.
Lord. Good Lord.
Same, dude. I can't wait for
Oh my God. It was like,
I'm very excited for food.
So that's her story. She is one of the big legends over there. Definitely of like the Bloody Mary type of famousness that goes through everywhere.
Love that.
Yeah.
I would not want to come across her. I would not want to be killed with scissors.
I'm going to carry candy and money on me at all times. Just throw them as quickly as possible.
And just really throw her off.
Look!
Ask her a question.
Am I beautiful?
I feel like you have to ask a really obscure one to get her thinking. Yeah. You're like,
can you tell me a little bit about Japanese culture? So the next is a mamba, which is also known as the mountain witch.
Oh.
But more than just a simple ghost story, we're going to be uncovering the secrets of what she represents in Japanese culture. So Mamba is a character who has appeared in Japanese stories for generations. She's often depicted as an old, haggard woman living deep within the remote mountains, far away from the safety of the villages. Her appearance is a stuff of nightmares. Long, tangled hair, a bent elderly figure, sometimes with grotesque features like a wide, menacing mouth or sharp teeth. Sharp, not shart.
Oh, I thought you said shark. Okay. I was going to say sharp, same thing.
The mamba is much more than just a villain in these tales. In Japanese folklore, the mamba is a shapeshifter, a woman of mystery who can be both a threat and a savior, which made me think of La Llorona. This duality is key to understanding her role in these stories. On one hand, she's known as a devourer, luring unsuspecting travelers, often children, into her lair with the intent to eat them, kind of like Hansel and Gretel, the witch, right? God. In this story, she serves as a cautionary tale, warning people, especially the young, to stay away from the dangerous, unknown areas of the wilderness. But here's where things get interesting. Mamba isn't just a monster. In some stories, she's portrayed as a nurturing figure, a provider. She might help lost travelers by offering them food and shelter, or even provide magical assistance to those in need. In these tales, she's seen as a guardian of the mountains, a figure of wisdom and power deeply connected to the natural world. One of the most famous stories involving Mamba is her role as the mother of Kintaro, the legendary child hero known for his incredible strength. According to this tale, Kintaro was raised by Mamba in the mountains, where she taught him how to communicate with the animals and survive in the wild. The depiction of Mamba as a nurturing maternal figure shows just how complex and multifaceted a character can be. So what's the secret of Mamba? What lies beneath the surface of this mysterious mountain witch? The secret might be the key to understanding the very nature, the wilderness she inhabits. The mamba embodies the duality of nature itself, both beautiful and dangerous, nurturing and unforgiving. Her character represents the wild, untamed aspects of the natural world, which can be both a source of life and a force of destruction. In this way, the mamba's secret is that she is not inherently good or evil.
Okay.
And we've run across lots of that.
Yes, we have.
Instead, she reflects the balance of forces that exist in nature.
Like yin and yang.
But there's more. The mamba's secret might also lie in the hidden knowledge she possesses. Living in the mountains, she is often portrayed as a master of herbology and survival. With a deep understanding of the natural world, this wisdom is both coveted and feared. Those who seek her out might be looking for that hidden knowledge, but they must be prepared to face her darker side as well. In some interpretations, the mamba represents something even more profound: female power and independence. She lives alone in the wilderness outside the conventional roles of society, embodying a kind of wild, dangerous freedom. In this sense, the mamba's secret could be the strength and resilience that comes from this autonomy, as well as the fear and suspicion it provokes in others. Throughout Japanese history, the mamba has left a lasting mark on culture. She has appeared in literature, theater, and even modern media. In No theater, a traditional form of Japanese performance, there's a famous play titled Mamba that explores her character in depth, focusing on her internal struggle between her nurturing and destructive impulses. And even today, the mamba continues to influence Japanese culture. You might find her referenced in manga, anime, and other forms of popular media where her character is adapted to fit new narratives while retaining the essence of her dual nature. So the next time you hear a story about a witch in the mountains, remember that she might be more than just a monster lurking in the shadows. The mamba is a powerful symbol of nature's complexity and the mysteries that lie within the wild. Her secret is a balance of life, death, and wisdom and danger, freedom and fear. And perhaps in understanding the mamba, we can gain a deeper understanding of the natural world and the place within it.
Love that.
I
like the mamba.
I did too.
That's
I had
cool.
to put her in because when I read about her, I was like, ooh.
A witch
because
in the mountains.
How often do we deal with ancient things that are neither good nor bad?
Yep.
They are both.
Yeah.
And that is just who they are. That is what they are.
Yes.
And I think this is very interesting that this is exactly what that is. Like, yeah, you have the nurturing, but you have the dark. And every single one of us have the dark and have the light. We deal with both of that, you know?
It's an anti-hero.
Yeah.
It's like Deadpool.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. But I think it's interesting because she is something that, again, school-age children will try to go up in the mountains to find her, to confront her, to be scared by her. So she's very steep there. But I just loved her story when I was reading it. And I was like,
me as a kid would be going to trying to befriend her.
Oh, me too.
Like,
I'd be like, I want to be friends.
Be
Teach
a witch
me.
in the mountains.
Yes. I want to be a witch in the mountains. No, I don't want to be in the mountains. I'll just be a witch.
Well, it depends on where in the mountains. Maybe in the Japanese mountains, because those are beautiful. But not in America. American mountains are scary.
No, they are scary. I don't want to be in the American mountains.
I'm going to do that.
The Appalachians?
I'm going to
doing the Appalachians?
do Appalachian, yes.
There's a lot of lore there.
Oh, yeah. That's what I'm doing mine on.
Not just lore.
Oh, yeah. Real people.
Boop, boop, boop. Awesome.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
It's like Beetlejuice.
What is up with all my noises? My throat just did a weird ass noise.
It makes me think of Beetlejuice. You're like, showtime.
Showtime.
I have never seen Beetlejuice.
What the
I know.
motherfucking fuck?
I know.
Alyssa.
I know.
What the fuck?
I know. I don't know. I don't know why I never have. It's crazy.
You're gonna have to watch it so you can
I
see the
will.
new. What the fuck?
I don't know.
It's a classic.
I know it is.
Girl. Get you. What?
I know.
I'm literally shook right now. I'm
I
shook.
think it was because like everyone was obsessed with it when I was in school, and I was just like annoyed by it, and I was like,
why is that you? Please tell me why that's you. You're like, I'm so sick of hearing Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice is 3 times too.
Yes.
Beetlejuice.
Yep.
Beetlejuice.
We have to do the lore of Beetlejuice.
Is there a lore?
No.
I don't think so. All right, let's talk about the legend of Teke Teke.
Teke
Teke is one that has been passed down through generations in Japan. It is a tale that begins, as many do, with tragedy. They say that many years ago in the 1950s, a young woman lived a quiet life in a small town. A life that was abruptly cut short by a horrific accident.
Uh-oh.
One night, while waiting for a train, she fell or was pushed onto the tracks. The details vary, but what remains consistent in every telling is the gruesome outcome. The train, unable to stop in time, severed her body in half, killing her instantly. Her death was not only tragic, but filled with such pain and fear that her spirit could not rest. But this was not the end of her story. Oh no, it was just the beginning. The young woman's spirit returned, transformed into something terrifying, something vengeful. She became known as Teke Teke, a ghost with no lower body.
Oh.
Yeah. Who drags herself along the ground with her hands or her elbows moving with unnatural speed. How fucking scary is that, dude?
I don't like it.
The name Teke Teke comes from the sound she makes as she scrapes across the ground, a chilling noise that signals her approach. I dreamed about her last night.
Oh, no.
She's one of the ones I was dreaming about.
Please, no.
She scared me.
I don't want it.
According to legend, Teke Teke haunts train stations, schools, and other places near railways. If you're unlucky enough to encounter her, you'll see her crawling towards you.
No.
Her face twisted in anger and pain. And if she catches you, she'll cut you in half, mimicking the fate she suffered. But what drives Teke Teke? Is it rage, sorrow, or simply the need to inflict the same horror she experienced on others? Some say she asks her victims where her legs are before she attacks. Could you imagine scraping along? And could you imagine she uses her elbows?
No,
like that
dude.
to me is
No.
creepier than her hands.
No.
And then says, where's my legs? Where's my legs?
I would pass out. I would just pass out.
As if she's still searching for the missing part of herself, yet no answer can save you from her wrath. Over time, stories of Teke Teke have spread, each one more terrifying than last. There are tales of school children who saw her too late as she raced towards them, their screams lost in the night. Others speak of lone travelers who met her ghostly figure on isolated roads, never to be seen again. These stories serve as warnings. Do not wander alone near train tracks, which I personally think train tracks are very, very full of activity for many reasons.
Yes.
Energy and also what happens on train tracks. Always be aware of your surroundings. But where did this legend come from? Which I think, because I guess Teke Teke has actually been shrouded in mystery, but there's been other stories in the past that kind of speak of a woman that has no legs, that drags herself. But the story mainly came out from the 1950s. And there was a story of a woman who did die on the train tracks when she was cut in half.
Oh, gosh.
So is there any true encounters? Because they do have stories of where a woman did die. And that primarily, I think, is where Teke Teke came from. While Teke Teke is generally regarded as an urban legend, there have been real-life incidents that seem eerily similar. One such incident reportedly occurred in Hokkaido in early 1970s. A group of students claimed they saw a figure resembling Teke Teke near a railway track. That's weird. Late at night. They described the figure as a woman with no lower body, dragging herself along the ground at an unnatural speed. The students were so terrified that they ran, but one of them tripped and fell. According to the others, the figure caught up to him and he was later found dead near the tracks. His body horrifically mangled. While the authorities dismissed the incident as an accident, it was actually happened. It was a real story. The survivors insisted they had seen something supernatural. The story spread quickly, leading to fear of Teke Teke in that area, and now people very much regard the warning of not being at the train tracks at night.
I'm so glad I don't want to be.
But there was actual thing where the boy was mangled.
That's terrifying.
Yeah.
And it was, was it confirmed that it was not from a train?
I didn't see anything about it being confirmed. They just said it was an accident, and they said that was not an accident.
Crazy. No,
yeah.
Thank you.
So that was the horrifying
I don't like that
legend of Teke Teke.
Nope.
So now let's continue on to something a little bit more scary in the sense that
more scary. Okay.
we're going to talk about the legend of the Okiku doll.
A doll? Mm-hmm. Oh. Oh boy.
The legend begins in 1918 in the bustling city of Sapporo on Japan's northern island of Hokkaido, which again, we were just there with Teke Teke. A young boy named, I'm going to say his last name because I don't know, Suzuki, was visiting the city for a maritime expedition, which is a boating expedition. Among the many stalls and vendors, a particular doll caught his eye. A beautiful doll dressed in traditional kimono with flowing black hair and eyes that seemed almost lifelike. The doll was 40 centimeters tall, which I have no idea what that is, with an enchanting expression that captivated this young boy. He bought the doll as a gift for his 2-year-old sister, Okiku, who was back home in the rural town of Wamazawa. I'm sorry if I butchered that one. I did not look up the thing of that one. When he returned, the doll quickly became Okiku's favorite toy. She played with it every day, and it never left her side. The family, seeing how much joy the doll brought Okiku, began referring to her name as Okiku. But the happiness was short-lived. Just a year later, tragedy struck. Okiku, the girl, not the doll, fell ill with a severe fever, and despite the best efforts of her family and local doctors, she passed away at the tender age of 3.
Oh my God.
The Suzuki family was devastated, their grief overwhelming and their sorrow. They placed the Okiku doll on the household shrine in remembrance of their beloved daughter. And that's when things began to change. Now, mind you, this is supposedly a true story. It wasn't long before the family noticed something unusual about the doll. At first, it was subtle, just a feeling that the doll's hair seemed longer than before. But as the doll's days passed, the hair continued to grow, eventually reaching down to the doll's knees. The family was perplexed. They had kept the doll as a cherished memory of Okiku, but now they began to wonder if something was more at play.
Yeah.
The Suzukis believe that Okiku's spirit has taken residence in the doll, which we know. That can happen. They tried cutting the doll's hair, but it kept growing back as if it was alive. The once comforting presence of the doll began to feel unsettling. The family reported hearing strange noises at night, soft footsteps, and whispering voices, as if someone was moving around the house. Years passed. And in 1938, the Suzuki family decided to move from Hokkaido. However, they couldn't bring themselves to abandon the doll. Now, so closely tied to the memory of their lost daughter, they approached the monks at the Monjang Temple in, I don't know that name, I'm not going to say it, explaining the doll's strange behavior. The monks agreed to take the doll, recognizing the family's belief that Okiku's spirit resided within it. The monks placed the doll in the temple, where it remains to this day. So it's still there.
Oh my God.
Over the years, they have witnesses the doll's hair growing. People witness it, confirming what the Suzuki family has experienced. They regularly trim her hair, which is said to be coarse black, much like of a living child. But the story doesn't end there. Some say that the doll's eyes have begun to move as well, following visitors around the room. There are even reports that the doll's mouth sometimes opens slightly as if trying to speak. The Okiku doll has become an object of reverence and fear, attracting the curious and believers alike. Over the years, the legend of Okiku doll has grown and become one of Japan's most famous haunted objects. Some claim the hair have been significantly examined. It is indeed that of a young child. Though no definitive evidence that has been publicly presented, skeptics argue that the story is nothing more than a myth, a natural phenomenon fueled by grief and superstition. Yet those who have encountered the doll in person often have with them a deep sense of unease, as if they've stepped into the presence of something beyond the ordinary. The story of the Okiku doll touches on deep culture beliefs in Japan about spirits, death, and the afterlife. In Japanese tradition, dolls are more than just toys. They are believed to possess a soul or a spirit, especially when they have been loved and cherished. We know that's true.
Yes.
This belief is evident in the centuries-old practice of Nyango Kuyo. I'm sorry if I butchered that. A ceremony where dolls are respectfully disposed of when they are no longer wanted, to ensure that any spirits within them are at peace.
Love that.
I know, me too. The Okiku doll is a haunting reminder of the thin line between the living and the dead. A symbol of the enduring connection between a grieving family and their lost child. Whether you believe in the supernatural, the story of a Okiku doll is what resonates with anyone who has lost a loved one. But here's the thing about the Okiku doll. The monks, over all this time, have confirmed that her hair grows.
That's so insane.
And that they trim it for her, and they keep it trimmed. And that they also have confirmed that they hear steps and movement throughout the place.
Oh my gosh. That is so cool.
The hair was really cool to me.
Yeah, that's pretty insane.
But
I don't even understand how that happens. But that's really crazy.
I have no idea. But it is just insane to me.
I need to go
because
see
it's
that.
the monks who have confirmed it. People have come to see her, they revere her, but the monks have confirmed that they regularly have to trim her hair.
Cool. I have to go there.
I think I want to go there.
Have to go.
No stories of her, Robert the doll. No stories of her doing anything evil. They just say they feel at unease. But I just thought it was interesting because I think one thing that America has really missed out on is that so many cultures understand that dolls are vessels for spirits. And yet America doesn't get it.
No. They're like, that's fake.
Yeah.
That's not a thing.
And I'm like, they're vessels.
Yeah.
If you're going to have a doll in your house, an empty one, you could possibly.
I find it interesting that I feel like so many other cultures in general just seem that way. Like they seem to just
understand
respect.
it.
Yeah, they seem to respect the dead. They seem to believe in that kind of thing.
They understand that there's a thin line. Mm-hmm. That there's a thin line. That veil can be thin. That there is not this big difference between the dead.
And I'm sure it has something to do with because like Europe doesn't really seem to be that way either. But we were kind of colonized. I might sound dumb here, but we were colonized by Europe.
You were.
Correct? Okay.
No, you're not dumb.
So like that kind of makes sense, I guess.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's weird to me because it just makes sense in my head. And it's weird that so many people don't think that way. But to each their own.
Yeah. I know. I really like that one a lot, though. I don't like it. Obviously, I didn't think it's sad, but like, it's just interesting because when I read it, I was like, monks have confirmed. And I thought that kind of holds them in a different standard in a way, you know, and they trim her hair. So I thought it was cool. So I'm going to end all our stories with one that I think you all know of. We're going to talk about the origins of Okigara, also known as the Sea of Trees. Is a forest located northwest base of Mount Fuji in Japan.
Is it the suicide forest?
The forest is known for its dense, twisted trees, a haunting stillness, and one associated with death and tragedy even before the suicide started.
Really?
Yes, absolutely. The geological origins of Okigara, hold on, where was I? Date back over 1,000 years. Formed by a series of volcanic eruptions from Mount Fuji. The volcanic rock that makes up the forest floor is rough and uneven, making it difficult for many plants to grow, though the forest itself is dense. It's dense with trees and thick foliage, which shouldn't be. Yeah.
Wow.
The unique landscape has contributed to the forest's eerie atmosphere with gnarled roots that seem to crawl along the ground and trees that block out sunlight, casting the forest into perpetual twilight. It is never light in that forest. So it does have a dark reputation. I wanted to bring it on here because obviously it's very pivotal. It's something that Americans definitely know about. You know, it has been on YouTube and TikTok and everything else. So Okigara's reputation has a place of death and despair that can be traced back to centuries old Japanese folklore. The forest is believed to be haunted by the Yūrei, which are spirits of the dead who are unable to pass on to the afterlives due to unresolved conflicts, such as suicide or abandonment. These spirits are often depicted as sorrowful, white-clad figures with long, disheveled hair who wander the forest in search of peace. One of the most enduring legends associated with Okigara is that of Ubusati. This ancient practice, though more myth than reality, involved taking an elderly or an infirm family member to a remote, desolate place, leave them to die.
Oh.
Often during times of famine when food was scarce. I'm sorry, I believe it's real because I can see how that could happen. Like I just do.
Oh, 100%.
You know. So
that's awful.
Okay. According to some versions of the story, Okigara was one such place where the abandoned would succumb to starvation, dehydration, or exposure. Their spirits remain in the forest. The forest association with death intensified during the post-war period in Japan when the country's economy was struggling and many people faced immense social and financial pressure. Which there's a book, and I don't know how to say it. It was like a novel by Matsumoto, and it cited as a turning point where the forest's grim reputation, because it was about a double suicide that happened during that time in this forest. The forest subsequently became a well-known destination for those intending to end their lives, cementing its status as Japan's suicide forest. So let's talk about now, right? So this is not, a new thing. This forest is steeped in that kind of stuff. So Okigara is one of the most infamous suicide spots in the world. The Japanese government does not publicize the number of suicides in the forest, but estimates suggest that dozens of people take their lives every single year. This has led to the forest being patrolled by officials and volunteers who search for bodies, as well as by those who try to prevent potential suicides by offering assistance and counseling, which I thought was really wonderful. And I wanted to put that in there because their fact that they're trying to be proactive just is really wonderful. At the entrance to the forest, signs in Japanese and English urge visitors to reconsider their decision and seek help, offering hotlines and support. Despite these efforts, the forest remains as a place of both fascination and dread. The dense labyrinth nature of Agara has given rise to numerous ghost stories and supernatural legends. Visitors to the forest often report a deep sense of unease. Well, of course, so much sorrow and death is in that forest. The quietness of the forest, due to the absence of wildlife and the sound dampening qualities of the trees, amplifies this eerie atmosphere. One of the most common tales involves sightings of the Yūrei, the spirits of those who died in the forest. These spirits are said to appear as pale, ghostly figures, again, that seem to be lost in the forest, sometimes crying or calling out to the living. According to the locals, the souls of those who die in deep despair, such as suicide victims, are unable to find peace and become Yūrei, forever trapped in the forest.
Oh my God.
Another legend speaks of the Jiminju trees with human-like faces that are said to be embodiments of the souls of the deceased. These faces are rumored to watch over the forest, their expressions twisted in internal sorrow. Though this is more of a legend, it adds to the chilling folklore surrounding Agara. Though there are also stories of visitors who enter the forest only to become lost, unable to find their way out despite best efforts. Some believe this is due to malevolent spirits that confuse and mislead those who enter. Compasses and GPS devices are said to completely malfunction in the forest. They do not work.
That's crazy.
Adding to a sense of disorientation and helplessness. So Agara has permeated popular culture, appearing in books. You know, we see it all over the place. But now it is a place that people go. Yeah. And I think the fact that you can't really walk through there easily, I wonder how they do it, because they literally said that devices don't work in there. Phones stop working. Everything stops working in there. Of course, people that are going in there to end their lives don't care. They don't care. But people that are going through there to be wonderful people and say, hey, don't do this, you know. So Agara is a place where history, legend, and tragedy converge. The forest's reputation as a haunted, sorrowful place has deep roots in, like I said, in the folklore. And then it remains one of the most enigmatic and unsettling locations in the world. Yep. Very unsettling. Where is it at? So I wanted to talk about the wandering Yūrei, because that's one of the most commonly reported encounters. So in Agara, it involves sighting of the Yūrei, which is ghostly figures believed to be restless spirits of those who died in the forest. Visitors have people have reported numerous reports of seeing pale, translucent figures, often clad in white funeral garments, wandering aimlessly among the trees. These apparitions are said to appear and disappear suddenly, sometimes seen weeping or staring blankly into the distance. Many believe these are the spirits of those who committed suicide, unable to find peace in the afterlife, forever trapped in the forest. They also constantly hear disembodied voices and whispers in that forest. Now, mind you, there is no wildlife.
You're right. Yeah. There's nothing.
There's just nothing in there. It's silent. So they hear disembodied voices and whispers. Visitors have reported hearing soft, mournful voices calling out their names or whispering unintelligible phrases as they walk by through the forest. These voices are often faint and seem to come from all directions, making it impossible to pinpoint their source. Some believe these are the voices of the dead, trying to lure the living into the forest, deeper into the forest. The other thing that they report all the time is the feeling of being watched. Yes. Many people who enter Agara report an overwhelming sensation of being watched. Even when they are completely alone, this feeling is often accompanied by a deep sense of unease or dread, and as if unseen eyes are observing their every movement. Some attribute this sensation to the spirits of the dead who are said to be angered by the intrusion of the living into their domain, which very well could be. They also see lights and orbs in this forest. Yeah.
Wow.
Mysterious lights and orbs are another common occurrence. And I think it's interesting because it's a common occurrence where death has been, like in graveyards, in, where people, you see these orbs and lights. These lights are often described as small glowing spheres, are seen floating among the trees or hovering just above the ground. Some believe these lights are hitodama, a type of ghostly fire associated with spirits in Japanese folklore. The lights are said to appear suddenly and move erratically before vanishing without a trace. Interesting, huh? Malfunctioning electronics. We already mentioned that. Yes.
I have to interject something really quick.
Yeah, please do.
So I was having this really interesting conversation about like different dimensions and everything. Your brain's going to be a little mind fucked. Okay. But different dimensions, obviously when I look at you, I can see like your front, your sides, can't see your back.
Nope.
But if these orbs, let's say they most likely are spirits, like if they are in another dimension existing within ours, that could be why we see them as an orb. They could be like, it could just be how we are able to see them.
From what I understand, we're dimensions on top of dimensions. Yeah. And so we are here, and then there's just dimensions. So there's so many. We're not by ourselves. We're never by ourselves. No. And I think sometimes it comes through. Yeah. And I think some people are just more sensitive. Yes. Than other people. Like they don't have that block in their head. Yeah.
Now what I find interesting though is I wonder if there's different levels of it. Like why is it that, because you have seen spirits, you have seen them full apparitions, like a full person. So what makes the difference? Liz saw one. Yes, yeah. I've seen one. Yeah. And I don't really have like a whole bunch of I wouldn't say I'm very into, I'm in tune in certain aspects, but not like visually. But what makes it to where some you see as like an orb and some you see is it just like a different phase of
maybe it's their energy, where they're at, how far are they into the dimension versus how close are they to your dimension?
That's so crazy to think about.
What I'm thinking, if you're farther through, you're going to be less visible, right? Than if you're just
that's so crazy.
I know.
Sorry,
I can go down. You want to talk about dimension? I can go down a whole thing with this as well. Yeah. So let's talk about the malfunctioning electronics. People always report their electronic devices, such as cameras, phones, GPS units, all malfunctioning in the forest. Compasses are known to spin erratically. Yeah, lots of accounts of that. And GPS devices can lose signal or show incorrect locations. And then a lot of them attribute this to the magnetic properties of the volcanic rock beneath the forest. But that also tells me that's a lot of energy, which again, and then you're having death there. That's just a whole portal to hell. No, so it's interesting. But a lot of people think it's the spirits trying to disorient them so they can die too. Yeah. Which I don't know if I believe that. I don't know if they're vengeful. I think they're just... I think it's a dimension thing, a very big energy source with that volcanic rock. So
I think it, of course it's interesting that so many people go there, but I think it makes sense why so many people go there. I don't think it's necessarily that there's spirits luring you in and forcing you to do that. I think it's an alluring place to do that because you can get lost in there. Yeah. And you feel you're not going to, be in the way of anybody.
No, and it's kind of you hear about it, you're okay, that's where I'm going to do it. Yeah. I won't, my loved ones aren't going to find me, so I'm going to just go into there and do that, Please don't. No. Please seek help. We all want you around. Yeah. I just want to say that. Mm-hmm. We want you guys here, so don't do that. Next one is lost and confused wanderers. Those are numerous stories of people who have become lost in Ogara. Even those who were experienced hikers or well prepared with maps and GPS devices, some have reported feeling as if they were being led astray by an unseen force, losing their sense of direction and ending up far from where they intended to go. In some cases, people have reported seeing ghostly figures or hearing voices that seem to guide them deeper into the forest, only to disappear when they try to follow them.
Oh my God.
Now, could there be other spirits popping in there?
Of course.
Yep. Mm-hmm. This is very interesting, by the way. The White Lady. Yeah, she's going to make an appearance.
Oh.
A ghostly figure often reported in Ogara is that of a woman dressed in white, sometimes referring to as the White Lady. She is usually seen standing silently among the trees or sitting on the forest floor with a deep sorrow on her face. Witnesses have described her as looking solid and real at first, but then as they approach, she vanishes into thin air. Some believe she is a spirit of a woman who took her own life in the forest, eternally mourning her lost life. I just thought it was interesting because there's so many White Lady sightings. And I do wonder if that was, if that is, she, like La Llorona, that's all like a symbol of mourning and a loss of, I think that's interesting. They also have caught apparitions on photographs. So visitors who take photos at Ogara, sometimes find strange anomalies or ghostly figures in their pictures that were not visible when the photos were taken. And please look this up because it is very true.
Oh my God.
Their anomalies can include shadowy figures, faces in the trees, or unexplained orbs of light. Many believe these images are spirits of the dead. Look them up. They're very, very interesting. Right, unexplained cold spots. So I put this in here because yes, that can be, but I also know spirits can run hot.
Yeah.
I think cold spots are not always that, but I'll put that in there. And then the last one I'm going to talk about is the luring spirit legend. This is a local legend about a spirit in Ogara that actively lures people into the forest with the intent of leading them to their deaths. According to the legend, the spirit appears to be a helpful guide, offering to show lost hikers the way out of the forest, only to lead them deeper into the woods where they become hopelessly lost. Some versions of the story suggest that the spirit is a vengeful soul seeking to drag others in the same despair that led them to take their own life.
I'm not seeing any.
Oh, I'll look them up. I'll get them for you.
All right.
So that, everybody, is a few of the very influential, pivotal legends and ghost stories of Japan, which I think are enriching, and it was very wonderful. Like, I don't want to say wonderful, but honestly, Mamba was amazing. Yeah. Mamba, I love reading about her. Like, I just thought their stories were just so well put.
I just love the spiritualism of, like, Japan. Really, in most Asian countries, I just love the spiritualism aspect and, like, the respect that they seem to have and all of it.
Such
I love
respect. I think that... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. I love that you put Suicide Forest in there because that's not like one that I would have thought of for like lore, but that's a really good one to put in.
Yeah.
Also, I want to add the freaking stupid Logan Paul when I know he was young, but like, come on,
so
dude.
Disrespectful.
I couldn't believe he was so disrespectful. Period. When he went there, like,
I know.
Remember the Pokemon shit he was doing?
I know. It was so disrespectful.
It gets me so pissed.
And that's one thing I have to say. Like, I have to give props to Japan in that area because they do go out proactively trying to search and offer help. And it's a very scary, eerie place, but like they don't shy away from it. Yeah. And they really try to, I think they said they have people out there every day trying to go through and find people that they can talk off a ledge, essentially, which I think is...
It's amazing.
Amazing.
You have to be really stable in order to do that. Not only just to do that, but then to also find them, because they find the bodies and they have to like take them out and, you know, like... Yeah. You have to be really secure within yourself, I feel like, and like your decisions and not easily be swayed. Like, let's say there are like spirits there, like you have to be very secure.
Sound-minded.
Mm-hmm.
Not to be, sound-minded, not to be swayed, you know, and spooked and called, you know, out. So I definitely think there's spirits there.
I would 100% say there are.
I don't think it's just that of the people who passed. I think it is, I think their sadness and sorrow has left an imprint onto that ground, right? Yeah. I think they can be lost, but typically what I find, and this is just me, what I have found seeing spirits is that people that are lost are when they go to the other side and it's not what they expected, or when they are going and they just realize, wait a second, everything I believed out the window, like this, I don't know, or if they die suddenly and they're just like, where the hell am I, you know? So, or they're murdered. That's another one, because that's very
sudden.
Yeah, and it's also, again, it like leaves that print, an imprint on the earth, like this energy, boom, is left there. You don't think that's going to carry things?
You know what? I think of it this way. Like, think of when, and like, obviously not everybody can pick up on energies, but I think everybody can, just sometimes you're not always as in tune with it. But let's say, you know, you can sense when someone is in a negative headspace.
Uh-huh.
And if someone, let's say there's someone in a really bad mood, like in a cafe, like you walk in, you can feel that.
Absolutely.
And that's like a living being. So imagine like death, you know, like, and how we always say, like, energy can't be destroyed.
Nope.
It's just there.
Yeah.
You know, like, so, I don't know.
So you're carrying that energy. Like,
Yeah.
you're going into this forest and you're
leaving that imprint of energy.
Yeah, because already, not only is your death leaving that imprint, but you're going in and you're feeling obviously just beyond despair, you know, to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And that leaves that print. But then you have the same, the volcanic rock was interesting to me. So I was like, that, we all know that you use volcanic rock in a lot of like witch practices and stuff like that. So that houses a lot of energy. Yeah. So I feel like this is just a swirling portal of stuff, energy for things to happen there. So I absolutely feel like I would like to go. I would love to go and see.
It is beautiful.
I know.
Oh my God, it's so beautiful.
I would just like to know what I encounter. Yeah. I don't want to encounter obviously someone that lost their life, but I would like to know spirit wise what I encounter. They have
like their paths and everything. Yeah. You can walk, and like they obviously don't prefer you to go off path, but people can. But I don't know necessarily if I would right away. I don't think I would. Nope. If it was, it'd be like a few steps off the path.
Hiking in general, I have one rule. I will not go off the path. I will not.
I only would in certain circumstances, and that would be because like Kylie goes, like she goes up north and like does hiking, because she's like, I don't fuck with the nature here because we got a lot of stuff. We got snakes, alligators, bugs, all the stuff. But up north, there's really not a whole lot of it. You do have bears, and you do have people. Sometimes people are scarier, but they like they both have guns with them and they're like prepared. I would feel comfortable in that scenario, but not just by myself, absolutely not, and not if I was not armed. I would have to be armed 100% to do that. but yeah, I don't know. I've always wanted to go there. I find it so just like, I don't know. I've always been like enthralled with Japan in general, but Suicide Forest is just like,
I've been weirdly scared of it, but only I think just because, you know, I don't know. I'm not scared of like Japanese people. But, no. I've been like, I don't know. Maybe there is because of a lot of spirituality over there and a lot of that and the understanding. I think I'm fine. Like I'm intrigued now. Like I think after I'm figuring everything out, like I'm very intrigued. Yes. But I think it was just because sometimes for me it's an overload of, you know, and I feel like it's going to be very steeped. Yeah. Because everyone, they honor their ancestors. They honor all of that. So I think that very much is ingrained in their land. Yeah. You know? And so I feel like that's 100%. A lot of energy.
It is. Oh, yeah. It'd be very overwhelming, probably.
A lot of energy. I have to turn my brain off.
Yeah. I just want to go so bad.
But I think it's beautiful. And I think that your guys' stories, even the chilling, scary ones, I just thought were so vastly interesting. I was like, that's some good ghost stories right there. Like, that's creepy.
They make not always just Japan, but like South Korea too. Their horror movies are, oh my God.
On point.
Oh man.
Yeah.
They're crazy.
Chilling. So yeah, that's it, everybody.
I love that. I love it. And I'm going to do the Appalachian Trail.
Cannot wait. Because the lore, and I think you're gonna find some interesting stuff.
Yeah.
I'm
expecting skinwalkers. Yeah. Obviously, I'm expecting. Mimics. Yeah, I'm expecting crazy people stories for sure. Yeah. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff there. So that'll be fun. Yeah. Well, I loved that. Yeah. That was awesome.
Thank you. I hope I did Japan justice with your folklore. I know I probably butchered some words. I tried, but I found it very, very interesting going through the journey of their stories. I'm glad I did it. So yeah.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you in the next one.
Bye, guys.
Bye.